about meditation. Like that is the thing that really works for me, and that's why I'm really propagating that, because like I've identified a lot of my own mind patterns, my egoic behaviors, and basically why I'm able to like that's the thing about meditation. Like you are able to see your thoughts and eventually break the link between the thoughts and emotions, isolate the emotion, and then see it for what it is, and emote it completely. Can thoughts make you sick? Well, let's start off by answering a more fundamental question, which is, are thoughts real for that matter? So, well, yes and no. On one level, say you have 50 to 60,000 thoughts in a day. Luckily, not all of those thoughts come to reality, right? Like if you think about a tiger doesn't come into your living room. But on another level, the emotions that they're fueling, the emotions in the body, those are real. And that is what gives reality to these thoughts. So I've mentioned it in a different video that about the think feel loop, how thoughts are fueling the underlying emotions that you have taken in over the course of life, and the mind is just trying to recreate the chemistry by generating thoughts and gravitating you towards those life events through life choices, through behaviors and stuff like that. So these emotions, these negative emotions or survival emotions like anger, hatred, guilt, underlying all of these emotions, it's the fear. Fear is the primordial emotion that all animals in nature feel. So, and that is what ensures survival. So in the wild, whenever an animal feels fear, and we are also a lot more animalistic than we acknowledge, whenever we feel fear, the body goes into the sympathetic nervous system. So by sympathetic nervous system, I mean you go into fight or flight mode. So fight or flight mode means that the body prepares itself to fight the threat, the immediate threat that is there, or to run away from the threat. And as a response to that, it sends all the blood and all the resources to the extremities, to the arms, legs. It increases the cortisol level, it increases adrenaline, so that it even increase, like even makes the hair go out and stuff like that, dilates the eyes, so that it gives the animal a better chance at survival. And that's a amazing thing of nature. And when our ancestors in the Stone Age period, they were constantly under threat, and they were in that fight or flight mode, their average age was 35 to 40 years, and those were the ones that were able to pass on the genes. That trait was quite prominent, and that was great because it ensured our survival. But you can imagine, in the fight or flight mode, it is taking the resources from the visceral system, the visceral organs like the digestive system, the reproductive system, the cardiovascular system, and it is giving the immune system, and it is giving it to fight the threat. And the thing is that the body does not know the difference between a real threat and an imaginary threat, between reality and thoughts. So now there is not enough energy, not enough resources, not enough blood for these long-term projects. That's why then your immune system becomes weak. You have, say, infertility problems in the reproductive system, cardiovascular diseases, because there is not, imagine what is more important, to face the threat that is right now, the immediate threat, or to work on these long-term projects. The body has to make that decision. So that's the thing. Eventually, no species can survive in the long term, which is why it is very important to come back. And that is how thoughts end up making you sick, because they take a toll on these important systems of our body. So that is how it works. And the thing is, because of the nature of society, because of the fast-paced society and just the way it is right now, there are so many deadlines at work, you are stressed about, I don't know, relationships, your life situation, work, like living situation, things like that. We are constantly under stress all the time, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not trying to be pessimistic, or this is not a conspiracy theory or anything, but the best way for society to have its control over you is to affect your emotions, because if they affect your emotions, then they automatically affect the thought processes and the way of being, your state of being. So that's why, like for example, they create that lack. For example, we have a sense of what beauty looks like. You have to be thin, slim, or whatever, and then it's that separation that creates that lack. It creates that sense of lack, of guilt, or whatever, and then you're forced to move in that direction, feel those emotions, and just you end up becoming a cog of the wheel. So your job, your role is to identify these patterns in yourself and simply step out of them, because otherwise it will just be an endless loop. Understand that you are a beautiful soul in and of itself. Nothing on the outside can really complete you or make you whole. You are already complete, unique in its own self. You are a unique snowflake in this universe, and society is just trying to impose these things on you because of, yeah, let's leave it at that. And yeah, so this is what I had for you in this video. But look, watching these videos or taking this information is not the work. Information without application, without the experiential thing, is simply useless. It's like I'm telling you are learning how to play football, how to kick the ball, but you are not on the field. So that's why I always try to give like some homework or something so that you can take it back. So for this I have two homeworks for you. Number one is, start adding a physical element, physical activity into your daily schedule. So as I mentioned, like, the fight or flight system, it sends blood to the body, to the arms and legs. It creates the chemicals, the adrenaline and stuff like that. It needs to come out, because if it does not come out, eventually it turns into toxin, right? You can understand. And it's the same with your heartbeat. Imagine your heart is beating faster, it is pumping more blood, but there is no outlet, there is no use for it. Then automatically it ends up, it just knocks you out of balance. So any sort of physical exercise, maybe you go for a walk, you play some sport, anything, I leave that up to you, but start that so that you release that. Second thing is, you need to start identifying your thoughts. You need to start, that's the thing about meditation, like that is the thing that really works for me, and that's why I'm really propagating that, because like I've identified a lot of my own mind patterns, my egoic behaviors, and basically why I'm able to like, that's the thing about meditation, like you are able to see your thoughts and eventually break the link between the thoughts and emotions, isolate the emotion, and then see it for what it is, and emote it completely. So if you don't have time to sit in one place initially and actually give it a proper attention, like a proper meditation session, just use anything as an anchor. In fact, use a negative thought as an anchor. You can use anything as an anchor. Whenever you see a negative thought popping into your head, just acknowledge it, notice it, and just come back and use it as a way to ground yourself into the present moment. Maybe initially it could happen that you are seeing the thought retrospectively after you have acted upon it, you have behaved in a certain way, and then you notice that, oh, I behaved that way, I had this thing. No worries, initially that's a starting point. Be gentle with yourself and notice it. With time, maybe when you're in the midst of that thought pattern, you notice it. Look, it's come back. Just bring yourself. Every time you do that, you're breaking that neural connection. Every thought has a neural connection. So every time you're bringing yourself back, you're pruning those neural connections, and you're grounding yourself into the present moment. And eventually, even before, when you're presented with a certain external situation, even before the thought occurs, you will just see, okay, yeah, this is how it is. I have to come back to the present moment and just identify those thoughts and just come back. And that is how you slowly start, and eventually as you start doing this, the hold of these negative thoughts will lessen over you. It will just, if you don't pay attention to them and you start pruning these neural connections, it will lose its magnetic charge over you, and you will start coming back. So definitely start doing that, and I'm sure that it will help you. And yeah, this is what I had for you. And in fact, the bigger question that you need to ask yourself is that if thoughts can make you sick, can thoughts cure you? Can thoughts make you healthier and better? That's the thing that you need to focus on, and I'll speak about that in the next video. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Ciao.